Welcome back to the Shacknews Awards 2024. Uh, I don't know when this video is going to air, but we're well on our way announcing awards, right? It's been an eventful, however many awards that we've already announced. But we're going to talk about our esports hero or heroes. I think in this year it's just esports hero of the year, 2024. This is where we celebrate like esports athletes or players as opposed to teams. Sometimes we'll include a team here. Usually it's an individual. We like to look at the stories, like the ones that really stuck out this year in esports when we give this award. And yeah, we tend to focus on, I don't know, more esports than the average award show does. So yes, there are MOBAs, and yes, there are FPS games, but there's also this what do they call it? Fighting games. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a whole bunch of esports built around fighting games. They even have this thing every year. It's called Evo. It's pretty cool. How many of you guys have heard about it? Anyway, let's get to the nominees, and then we'll keep throwing shade at Jeff Keighley. Number one, our first nominee, Hayao, who I believe was playing Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, kind of took over the internet the Saturday of Evo with his infectious behavior on stage, mimicking his players' finishing moves, doing the splits, popping off and high-fiving everybody in the crowd. Yeah, just really kind of stole the show. I believe he even became an Evo moment. So we got Evo moment, was it 38?
It was something like that, and it was part of the pop-offs were part of it, but a lot of it was what led to the pop-offs, which were just these incredible comebacks and these incredible sequences that should not have happened, and yet we're just like watching it unfold before our eyes. It was just amazing to watch in real time.
Yeah, probably the best Hugo play we've ever seen, like ever, and just like the greatest run from a Hugo player, and also just someone who clearly loved the character, right? He was mimicking the jump celebration. He was doing everything in service of his main, which I just thought was adorable. And yeah, he won the crowd over almost instantly. But yeah, Hayao, definitely a worthy nominee in this category. I guess it wouldn't be this category if we didn't nominate Faker. TJ, can you explain why this was a standout year for Faker relative? I think he kind of came back, or his team kind of came back into the fold this year. You might be muted right now, TJ.
Yeah, so Faker is probably at this point the winningest player to have ever played League of Legends. Like,
yeah,
he's probably one of the world's best mid laners. He has played a role as like a coach and advisory role in T1, and he owns part of the team at this point since he's brought him so many wins.
Oh, that's right.
And at this point, like he is like straight up going to League of Legends Esports Hall of Fame, and it's because that guy has won like more champions than he has more champions than anyone else in the game. Not only in the game, but like if you were to consider esports part of the larger sports spectrum, he is the youngest champion with as many championship finishes as he has under his belt.
Mm-hmm. I think what's also super impressive about Faker is like how long the guy's been doing it, right? Like I think he won his first championship 11 years ago at this point. And obviously this is the thing we joke about with esports careers, that they're so ephemeral, right? Where you're like in your prime for 3 years and then you're terrible. But to be that good for that long in a game where at this point he's watched like generations of players come in and out of League of Legends esports and to still be dominating at this point is pretty ridiculous. So
He's similar to Rafa in Quake in that sense, David, where like Rafa I think has won 6 Quake World Championships. I think Faker's at 7 League of Legends championships.
Wow, that is
Is
impressive.
that right?
I forget the number, but he's won several.
Yeah, so he has more championships than Michael Jordan did in basketball. He's approaching like Bill Russell territory. So yeah,
And then
you're right. You're right. To compare him to even athletes who have been dominant in their sport, it's kind of crazy.
And then, like Donovan said, he won his first championship 11 years ago, and then he came back to Worlds 2024, and they won another one.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So it's like he's not even over the hill and off the hill and like just like legend status at this point. He's still actively winning.
Yeah, TJ, was this year? Was it his 5th Worlds title? I'm pretty sure.
5th? Okay.
Yeah, because I'm just having a look at his wiki page just to refresh the old memory here. Yeah, it's saying that Faker earned his 5th Worlds title at the O2 Arena this year.
So he doesn't have more titles than Michael Jordan yet.
He might have
playing at a high level.
600 win.
He has as many chips as Kobe right now, but he has more championships than LeBron James.
Probably a better shooting percentage.
Damn. Don't shade at your boy. I thought you were a Lakers fan.
I know Kobe's shooting percentage wasn't great.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about LeBron's shooting percentage. Either
That's
way.
your boy, man.
Actually, our boy.
Oh, really? Because I thought he played in LA. I thought our boy.
Oh,
you
no,
hear that, David? Our boy, David.
I heard that.
Our boy. You know what's funny is that when his son actually made his first basket, it was in Cleveland, and everyone cheered for him as opposed to how he's been treated.
Somebody move us back on.
How he's been treated in LA, by the way. Anyway,
You did this, Ozzy.
you did this. You brought it on yourself.
Speaking of
You should
which, speaking of our boy, Rod Breslau, Slasher.
Oh, the Supreme Chancellor of Esports? Yes.
Yeah. He posted this tweet a little while back that I remembered, and it was just like amazing to think about. It was like, championship rings won by the age of 28. LeBron James, 2. Yogi Berra, 3. Tom Brady, 3. Babe Ruth, 3. Michael Jordan, 3. Wayne freaking Gretzky, 4. Faker, 5.
There you go. So he's ahead of Michael Jordan at this period of time in his career. But to be fair to Jordan, he went pro at 22 or 21. Faker was pro at 17?
Yeah.
So but LeBron James was pro at 17. So, it's a fair comparison, but also some of these people are pro athletes and others just click a mouse rapidly. So I just want to differentiate between the effort that goes into these things. But yeah, Faker definitely deserves to be in this category nominated. I would be shocked if he doesn't win, but we have some other nominees, so let's get to them. Arslan Ash kind of came back this year with Tekken 8 at Evo. Going into Evo in Las Vegas this summer, Arslan had not been winning many tournaments. Had been kind of placing in the top 5, top 3, but was still kind of figuring out matchups, figuring out the way forward for themselves. Kind of got it all together in like a local or something, like a regional, about a month before Evo. He actually did get a win under his belt, and then went into Evo, and we had that Pakistani dominance in Evo again, where we saw, what was it, like 3 of the top 4 or 2 of the top 3 were Pakistani players. He's kind of been at the forefront of building up the Tekken scene in Pakistan. So it's just been really cool to watch him bring other people up with him, but at the same time, like, still be laser focused on, defeating them when they end up in the grand finals or the winter finals together. Hell of a run though this year at Evo. And it was, it's always cool when you win the first Evo of a game. Like, like the first Street Fighter 6 or the first Tekken 8 year. Those are usually more special wins. Because the meta's not completely fleshed out at that point.
He's also one of the few people to like put up kind of a triple crown type win. He's like one of the first. He's like the first person to win Tekken at Evo Japan, the main Evo, and the Tekken World Tour, in the same year.
He did that with 7 though, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now he's on this track where maybe he can do it with 8 because we have next year's Evo Japan. I believe they're doing Evo in Europe in the future too. So there may be like a Grand Slam in his future, TJ, where he adds another one to his belt. But yeah, like I thought this was a return to form for him because he hadn't been as dominant towards the end of Tekken 7. And then obviously this game, Tekken 8, came out earlier this year, and he was labbing and focused and trying to figure things out. But he was not overconfident or even confident going into Evo, which I think was part of the more interesting part of this year's story for him. Yeah, I'm a huge fan. And it's just, Tekken it's still the most fun. I don't know. Tekken and Street Fighter, right? They're both very fun to watch live at Evo. But you were in the hall, TJ. You heard the pop-offs for both Tekken and Street Fighter. They were very loud.
Yeah.
And he's one of the young faces of the sport. So definitely deserves to be nominated alongside this next guy, Punk. A North American won Street Fighter 6 at Evo, you guys. Like, that's all I have to say. It doesn't matter who. You do that, you get nominated in this category. It hadn't happened like in an official Evo tournament in however long. There had been some side tournaments that had happened in, but it was a big deal for the main.
The last time a United States player won at Street Fighter at Evo was it 2002 in Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
Wow. Yeah, I started watching these like 10 years ago and never seen it. It was always it was either Japan or it would be like maybe the occasional European player like Bonchan, but like other than that, like North America never got there. I thought that wasn't true. I thought that wasn't entirely the case because I was like, didn't Knuckle win? No, that's Capcom Cup, which is totally different. So yep. No, this was a big first, and man, it was such a long time coming because I always felt like North America was like right there, and just never happened. Mostly because Taquito's just a machine at these events. And,
oh yeah.
Oh and no, it's the Japanese players and the whole country of Japan, I think, takes Street Fighter esports very seriously, and there's like a sense of national pride around it. Like if you win Evo, you're on like the front of newspapers in Japan the next day.
Yeah.
Like Nikkei and stuff. So it's a big deal over there. And yeah, Punk may not be the most beloved person in the esports scene, but I don't know if you saw that video of him going down the escalator after he won and the entire concourse just cheering for him. Because there is like a patriotism or a nationalism that appears during these esports events.
I was gonna bring that up, Oz, because it's a lot like the Olympics, right?
Yeah.
Where, like every 4 years, we all get like all rah-rah about like, the US, at least for our United States citizens. It was the same with Evo. I saw people comparing it like that night. It was like I haven't been this patriotic, in years. It's always fun whenever you have somebody to root for in an international.
You literally just heard Ozzy throw LeBron James under the bus, right? But I guarantee he was cheering for that dude when he won us a gold medal earlier this year.
Similar moment, yeah. Same exact deal. There's like a lot of reasons to be pessimistic about this country, but we love rooting for our athletes in esports.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Punk is that in most stories, people would probably consider him the villain. He's very cocky, very confident, very off the cuff, and very abrasive. But he's also one of the best in the world, and that makes people even angrier.
Wow. And he works hard. Like he labs, he's practiced, he's been trying to do this for years. And there was that moment when he won where he kind of broke down in tears at the on the main stage.
And the other story to that is that Punk has had a reputation before Evo 2024 of being a choke artist. He would make it to the top 8 all the time, but he could never finish it. Not at Evo. It was like Ozzy said, like Taquito beat him. Like he's come up against other players. Like last year, Mena RD was on a tear. Angry Bird was on a tear. Like Street Fighter 6 is a murderer's row of top players right now, and there's thousands of them because everybody loves this game.
Yeah.
And he had to play through a 5,000 player pool to get to the end of Evo 2024, which in of itself sounds like grueling. He went 13 matches without dropping one. And that is so much stress and so much pressure. I can't even go like 3 or 4 matches in Evo without like feeling like my soul trying to leave my body from the stress. But this guy went 13 matches against 5,000 players and then closed it out in a bracket reset 3-2 set down to the very last round. That was crazy. That whole thing was crazy.
Yeah, I think Punk's definitely a worthy nominee for all those reasons. We have one more nominee before we can get to voting. Ozzy, I think you might be able to speak to this a little bit. Alex T is a professional Tetris player that went discovered got to a place that no one's been able to get to.
Here's the thing with Alex T is we do like to look at the Tetris champions, and winning the Tetris World Championship is it's a big deal.
Yes.
It takes a lot to actually win that. But Alex T also did something incredible earlier this year. He was the first player ever to reach 10 million in NES Tetris, which the fact that there's still records like milestones like that falling 35 years later is incredible. And for somebody this young to do it too, I feel like I say this every year for the last few years, but this kid wasn't born when NES Tetris came out. And he's not only the best in the world at it, but he's breaking records that were unheard of at the time. So yeah, I feel like he belongs in this category just for that.
It really feels like there's pre-hyper tapping Pro Tetris and post-hyper tapping Pro Tetris, right, Ozzy?
Yeah,
that was a transcendent moment for the entire esport where it took it to a completely different level, and then we started seeing it. I know it was but it's on ESPN, right? We're seeing Classic World Tetris Championship broadcast on ESPN. The attention it got, I think, when Joseph and the past championships kind of broke the wall down. Seeing kids that weren't even around when the game came out now setting these world records, getting us to these places we didn't know we could even go in the game. Yeah, Alex T definitely deserves the nominee.
And it definitely helped us turn Tetris into a young man's game, because olds like me, they can't get into hyper tapping.
No, my hand cramps just watching people hyper tap. I'm like, nope, I'm not doing that. But you kids have fun. That's where I'm at. I do love watching it though. Competitive Tetris is one of my favorite esports to watch, because it is, when you're watching someone play Tetris well, it's kind of mesmerizing. And when you have two people side by side who are going head to head and both crushing it, it's just very entertaining.
I would like to watch it next year. If anyone from Tetris is watching, please don't hold it the same weekend as Summer Game Fest again.
Yeah, they moved it. I don't understand why it moved. I think it was because there was the 40th anniversary this year or something, but
they wanted it here in LA, and I think that it belongs in Portland, man. Portland was its home for so long, and something feels off without it being at the Portland Retro Game Fest.
Yeah, and the Retro Game Expo or whatever, it's in November, so it doesn't overlap with anything anymore. So that'd be nice. But yeah, just a note to the Tetris company. So yeah. Anyone else have anything else they want to add, or should we get to voting? I think we're going to get to voting. David, I'm going to start with you.
Well, when TJ described Punk as abrasive, cocky, and arrogant, I wasn't sure exactly which Punk he was talking about at first.
That's the thing. That's where he gets it from.
Oh boy!
He's a big CM Punk fan.
Ugh.
Oh boy! Well, that aside,
I'll vote Punk. Okay.
You're voting for Punk?
I am.
Okay. Donovan.
I think I have to go with. I'm going to stay with Faker. I loved following the story of Punk this year, but I mean, Faker is quite literally the GOAT of the most popular game in the world. I can't not go with him for what he's accomplished.
That's fair. TJ.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay with Punk. Like in other years, Arslan Ash and Faker are like almost always at the top of our conversation, and I think Arslan's won it.
Yes.
And I can't remember if has Faker won it here.
I don't know. I don't think Faker as an individual has. I think his team might have in the past. I'd have to go look. We're not the biggest League of Legends fans on our staff, so it's possible that he has not been given this award since it was created. Because he did have like a little bit of a Tom Brady down period before he came back here.
But like, if you take the whole story together, like the journey there, the gauntlet that happened at the time, and then the finish, I think Punk had one of the most amazing years of anyone I've seen so far.
Yeah. I haven't voted yet, but yeah, you're making some good points here. Ozzy.
I'm gonna also go for Punk for that reason. I mean, to break that kind of 20-year slide for North America, that was such a big deal, and it was a great moment.
And it was a huge moment for him personally too, because he didn't choke. Like I think that was a big deal. Bill.
Punk, please.
Punk. Sam.
One of my best friends, Zach, is fully into League of Legends, and he loves watching Worlds. And every time it comes around, hearing him talk about Faker, but especially this year, hearing him talk about Faker and everything Faker achieved, I got to go Faker for this category.
Yeah. Greg's not here. Steve.
Gotta show Alex T some love.
Yeah. Denny's not here, and Greg's not here. I'm here. And even if I vote for Faker, it does not matter based on who's here. Do we have any absentee votes?
Don't believe so.
Okay. Normally I just kind of default to FGC, but since my vote doesn't really matter, I think I'm gonna vote for Faker here just because of the kind of just the longevity of his career is what impresses me. Like, I think you said it, Donovan. Usually you're over the hill when you're 26 in esports, but like he's
28 now. Yeah,
he's 28. He's setting records. He's leading. Yeah, I think it's just impressive. And TJ, when you broke down those at this point in their career comparisons, that is pretty impressive stuff there. So I'm gonna vote for Faker.
He also hasn't won our award for this in previous years.
He has not.
No.
And he's not going to today either, Sam. But looks of it.
Damn. Oh well. We tried.
I think everyone nominated deserves to be in this category. So it's obviously a personal preference thing. We tend to cover fighting games a little bit more intensely here at Shacknews. David wrote a book about Mortal Kombat, the whole franchise. So yeah, like I think Punk winning is not the worst outcome here. But yeah, it looks like Punk is going to win because Steve wanted to vote for Alex T, and deservingly so. Otherwise, we would have had a tie, and then we would have had to like drive to California to get Greg to tell us who he's voting for. But yeah, I think Denny probably would have voted for Punk. It's kind of my guess. But yeah. So yeah, cue the cult of personality, right? Right, David?
Look in my eyes. What do you see?
We'll get into that. I like Punk, the player in the Street Fighter 6 esports team, much more than CM Punk. So congratulations, Punk. You are our Shacknews Esports Hero of the Year 2024.